I'm excited.
Hey guys, welcome back to United USA. Thanks for tuning in to Erika Kirk, Grief or Acting Part 2. So I'm going to cover a few different things in this video. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Stick with me, and hopefully I can explain and shed some light on this whole situation, help us to have some better understanding.
Erika Kirk, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks. It's surreal to actually be sitting because last time I was standing, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Just to sit. It's a little more emotional.
Yeah. Well, you are rightly at the head of the table, and we're just so honored to have you here. I know that you have been, to say that your life has been a whirlwind would be the understatement of the century. And to make time for Charlie's audience and to speak to them, I know that they can't wait to hear from you, and just to see you in this room probably means a lot to them. And you've been up against so much, and you've been doing an incredible job. The number of messages I've heard just complimenting you and your dignity and your poise and your strength has been overwhelming. And yeah, we're just so glad you're here.
I'm grateful. I mean, I know we talked about this. We prayed on it. We really tried to discern properly how to go about the next few stages and steps of everything. And we've been very intentional in a way that always keeps Charlie first and his dreams alive and his legacy going. And what's so beautiful is to see all of you step in and do that. And so part of the reason why I agreed to come on, because this is not going to be a forever thing of me being on hosting the show, was because I gave assurance to people that Turning Point USA is continuing, and it is. I mean, we are so blessed to have more work than we even could ever dream of. I mean, it's beautiful, and Turning Point Action, full steam ahead, so powerful. All of the other programs within Turning Point USA, everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone has their marching orders. And the show, when we talked about this, became very intimate for me because I was there from the beginning of all of it. And I'll never forget 2020 when literally the world stood still. And Charlie and I would go hiking every morning. And we would just talk about what life, the crazy things going on. And we came home from one of our hikes that season, and my mom pulled him aside in the kitchen, and she goes, "Honey," they had a very good relationship. My mom and Charlie were best friends. We joked around that. I know. We joked around that he was the favorite child, but she loved him, still loves him. And she said, "You know what, honey?" She said, "God has blessed you with an amazing voice, and you will be the Rush Limbaugh of your generation." And 2 days later, you and him engaged in conversations about the show and about the podcast.
Well, it was, hey, we're going to be doing about 5 more episodes a week now. So just tell the team and make sure.
Okay. First thought, she is smiling a whole lot. Now, take into consideration, Charlie just died at this point. Charlie murdered, 2 weeks prior to this. I don't know about you. When I lost Sarah, someone very special to me, a new love, I couldn't even smile for like the first, I don't even know. I'm trying to think, at least the first couple months. I couldn't even smile. I couldn't even laugh. I can't even recall laughing or smiling those first couple months after Sarah died, tragically and suddenly. For those of you that don't know, Sarah died this year on April 30th, 2025. She was only 39 years old. She died a month before her 40th birthday. She was moving to Arizona to start a new life, and long story short, she's gone. she's gone now forever. And I've been absolutely devastated. Didn't have a dry eye for the first 5 months, crying practically all day, every day. Um, you know, sometimes waking up crying, going to bed crying. It's been a nightmare for me. I don't, this is just me. We all deal with grief in different ways, like I stated in my previous video about Erika. Now, this being part 2, the reason I wanted to make this video is because I've never seen a person smile this much after losing the love of their life, allegedly the love of their life. What this brings into question for me, now, first I want to say one thing, going back to part 1, all right? I was saying that she kind of looks like one of these people on Forensic Files that's like showing, all the demeanor of something to kind of take the focus off of her, and basically act like everything is just fine and jolly when she's, potentially the one that's responsible for his death or, had him killed. I'm not saying that. What I was saying was she looks like a person that did that. Now, I have suspicions, like a lot of people that have been following what's going on with Charlie, issues connected to Mossad, Israel, potentially. There's a lot of weird stuff. And by the way, it's not anti-Semitic for me to say that. It's just speculation. Just like everyone, we're having critical thinking and we are probing to figure out what is real, what is not, what are the possibilities. And because we know that our government is not telling us the truth, we know that the FBI is lying. For those of us that are paying attention, we know the official narrative that we've been told is not true. I believe that Robinson kid they got in custody is a patsy. I don't even think he was the shooter. And if he was involved, he definitely wasn't the only one. Conspiracy implies that more than 2 individuals are involved in illegal activity. So this is definitely conspiracy surrounding Charlie. Now, going back to her, I've never seen somebody smile and so happy after not only losing the love of their life, allegedly the love of her life, but I've never seen somebody smile this much just 2 weeks after the fact. Now, granted, there's things that she's talking about and she's inspired, and I get that. She's like smiling through this whole thing. Like I'm looking at her like, is she high? Or is she like, she looks like she's on a cloud right now. She just inherited the kingdom, millions. She's the boss, baby. She is the head in charge. She's got it all. I mean, you got $100 million in contributors to the TPUSA organization, millions in houses. She lives about 15 minutes from me up in Scottsdale, multi-million-dollar house. Always been a material girl, like I've talked about. She's done acting, pageants. I don't see a Christian woman when I see her. Now, I did make a video about that. I showed a clip of when she was at the memorial, and she's like, that young man, I forgive him. I was like, wow, that's amazing. That is a true Christian right there who's like, yeah, you know what? I have to forgive, right? And the Bible says we have to forgive, otherwise we will not be forgiven by God. So that's biblical. But now that I've watched this podcast 2 or 3 times, when I watched the video that I posted, part 1, where I showed her making the statement at the Charlie Kirk studio yesterday, that was 2 days after she had passed. So when I look at her and I say, well, that statement, I pointed out all the discrepancies in demeanor that contradict someone who is in grief. Because I ask myself, how can somebody be this happy? How can someone be this kind of like nonchalant after not just losing someone that you love, that you've been with for over a decade and have 2 kids with, but like someone who died in such a violent way? Like, I've been destroyed inside. Like, I'm a mess. And I feel like Sarah was murdered, maybe not intentionally, but drug-induced homicide. She was poisoned with something that was laced. And I think I know the person who's involved. I've talked about that in other videos. That's another video for another time. You guys can check that out. In the last couple months, I've been posting about that. But when I look at her and I look at the video of when she made that 15, 20 minute speech that was all scripted, and she's doing the weird whispering, and she keeps wiping the left eye, but there's no tears. She never wipes both eyes, never wipes her right eye. She only wipes the left eye, but there's never any tears. She's crying, allegedly, but there's no tears, right? So what is my point? My point is this. Now, I'm going to let this tape roll a little bit, and I'm going to try to nonchalantly interject here and there, not as much as I did yesterday. I know yesterday I could have cut that video down by at least 10 minutes or so, but it was necessary for me to drive the point home to get through to you guys, to show you everything that I see. So when I look at this and I say, and I look at that speech and I say, well, why would somebody fake grieving, making this statement? Why would somebody fake grieving? And that's where I thought, oh, okay, well, it's possible maybe she had something to do with it. But then I thought about it even deeper. And I thought about someone who genuinely doesn't love someone would have this type of demeanor. I'm not saying that she didn't love him, but what I'm saying is she's so happy now. She just inherited the kingdom. She just got the keys to the castle. All right, kids? Ladies and gentlemen, it makes me wonder if she ever loved him, or even if she did love him. Let's say that let's give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she genuinely cared about Charlie. Okay? It makes me think that she was only with him primarily for the money, right? An opportunist. Because when I look at somebody like this that is acting in this way, that lost Charlie in the way that he was killed and murdered, and she's this happy just 2 weeks after the fact, it makes me think that her motive was really just to, she had other motives. I don't know, guys. I'm thinking out loud, and I'm trying to figure this out, because all I do, this is what I do know. And I'm sure the rest of us, 99% of you can agree that her demeanor doesn't make sense for someone that should be grieving the loss of something so extreme and so violent, and to have this type of demeanor in such a short period of time. The other video, 2 days after Charlie died. This podcast, 2 weeks after Charlie died. This podcast right here. Now, today is what, the 17th? It's basically 5 weeks. I think it's almost 5 weeks to the day that Charlie was murdered. So when I look at this, I'm going to go ahead and roll some more tape here. I wanted to let the first few minutes play so you can see all the smiles. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, she's probably in the first 5 minutes, she's already smiled like 20 times. She's glowing, dude. She looks like someone that just fell in love. And also, if you notice this guy in the top right, the way that she keeps kind of looking at him, also the virtue signaling, yesterday's video when she mentioned Mikey McCoy with the TPUSA organization, dude, she lit up. Her face lit up when she said that name. It's strange when she looks at this. So this is the type of thing where I wonder, wow, was she having an affair? Is there something going on? She got eyes for somebody else. I mean, guys, you never know. I'm not saying that she is. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of how someone could be this happy and smiling this much in such a short period of time, like nothing has happened, when Charlie got shot in the throat and executed in front of 3,000 people at Utah University. I don't understand how she could be like this. It's been 6 months since Sarah died. I'm still a mess. And so when I look at her and I look at my grief and I look at her, I'm like, I don't see grief in this person. I just don't see it. And yesterday's video, what I saw was just really bad acting, very scripted. Obviously, she was reading a script, but it was prompted on all these things to whisper, tone, voice inflection. She's trying to be very dramatic to intensify that drama for a reaction. It's extremely manipulative. So today's video, I'm going to go ahead and try to keep this as short as possible, but it's important for me to drive the point home and to call out what I see when I see it. So I'm going to go ahead and roll tape. Of course, I will be stopping the video at times where I feel like I need to interject and make a point. Okay, so here we go.
That happens.
3 hours of this, 2 more hours of podcasting, like and he ran with that, and the team ran with it. And to see the Charlie Kirk show grow from that moment until
Real quick, I want to interject. These two right here, if you'll notice the way that these two keep looking at each other, I don't know, maybe I'm overanalyzing it. I'm analyzing everything that she's doing, but there seems like there's a chemistry here between these two. I could be wrong about that. Maybe they're just friends, coworkers. I don't know. There's just you're going to notice a lot of smiling back and forth between these two, and it's not just smiles, it's something in the eyes. Right, guys? You guys know what I'm talking about. When people smile with their eyes, they kind of are Twitter-pated. They kind of like that flutter, that butterfly eyes kind of look. You're going to kind of notice that. All right, here we go.
Now has been so humbling and beautiful. And he loved every single day. He read every email. Yeah. I know you guys have said that so many times, but
Okay, wait, stop got to stop real quick. Just quick thought. That is a lie. Okay? Do you know how busy Charlie was? Do you know how many emails Charlie got? Charlie was getting thousands and thousands of emails a day. I don't know the exact number, but guys, I can tell you this right now, for somebody who was as busy as Charlie was, for him to read every single email, that is a lie. Once again, this kills her credibility. That is a massive, massive exaggeration. Huge. It's an outright lie. Okay. And she's going to try to back it up and be like, oh no, I know that he read every one because he told me, and I know that he read every single email. No, he didn't. You would have to have a team of people. You would have to have like a team of like 5 people, at least 5 or 10 people reading those emails all day long not just to respond, but to read all those emails. Okay. And how busy Charlie was with his schedule, you're going to tell me that he's reading thousands of email every day? The guy would have never left the house. Give me a break. So here's another example of her embellishing, exaggerating, outright lying. Just another thing that kills her credibility and makes her look like a liar. All right, let's go.
Can vouch for that, because there were times where he would forward me some of the emails that he would get, and he wouldn't.
She's like, I can vouch for it. Really? Okay. No, you're a liar.
Even say anything. He would just forward the email. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was almost like...
Remember, keep your eye on these two right here. Something strange between these two, I think. I don't know. Just, it's a little weird.
An extended form of family where you guys were the pulse point of, and the connection point of Turning Point USA, TP Action, the Charlie Kirk Show. It was a triple threat. And the audience was the master and main component of that. Because Charlie and the Charlie Kirk Show is not just a show. Yeah. It has a movement attached to it. It has the youth movement attached to it. And so for Charlie, the audience was a barometer of what do we need to be focusing on? The audience is brilliant. How many times did a listener send in something and say, hey, this is going on. You need to dig deeper in this or check this out. And Charlie's show became, and still is, and I'm going to get there in a second, but Charlie's show became the North Star for freedom of speech. Yes. But in a way where when he spoke and whatever came across his desk or whatever he put on the air was right. Yes. It wasn't inflated. It wasn't awkwardly optimistic that had no leverage behind it. It was the gold standard.
It was grounded in the...
That's probably the most honest thing she'll say in this entire interview. All right, let's continue.
Extremely grounded.
Wisdom of the audience.
But not only that, he had a team, still does, all of you, that was the sounding board of that. And collectively, each one of you are a piece of his brain. I know we've talked about this. Blake, economics, foreign policy. Andrew,
I want to know, have you made this mistake with your holster? And by mistake, I mean, did you get a holster that's uncomfortable so you don't carry all the time?
Sorry,
pretty much that. A lot of stuff. Mikey, humor, Christianity, sports, youth social, pop culture was Daisy. Like everyone has a piece of his brain that still lives on. And so what I'm getting at here is the Charlie Kirk show is not going anywhere. My husband's voice will live on. The show will go on. We will have rotating hosts, rotating casts, rotating people coming on.
Some great people next week.
Unbelievable. We will have consistency. The members only group will continue to go on. All of his socials that God has blessed us with, the people who follow those socials will go on. Nothing is changing. But I want to preface, we're not awkward. We're not like weird.
Cringy.
We're not We're not going to be tweeting as if it's him. That's tone deaf and really disturbing. And anyone who does that's like morbidly off. That's not.
See, there's a couple moments where she'll actually be honest and genuine. But some of the best liars are people that mix their deception in with truth. I mean, guys, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Okay, so she's gonna keep it real from time to time, but the rest, just what I keep focusing on is just her demeanor. Like she looks like she just won the lottery. Like she looks like she just fell in love. Like picture somebody who's like the happiest they've ever been because of like something amazing that just happened in their life, right? That is what when I look at her, I'm just like, why is she this happy? Why is she this happy 2 weeks after Charlie was murdered? I don't understand.
What's happening? What's happening is the team is keeping this alive because we have Charlie in each and every one of us. And it is going to be continually the North Star of the conservative movement, of the voice of the youth, of the voice of the base, and that will not end. And the members only will continue to grow, and that will be the tight-knit network of family members that supported and loved Charlie and the team. And that's what it is. It's a family and a team. And this is not going anywhere. It's just not. We need to be able to have people have a show where they can ask questions. Hey, I'm up against this. What would Charlie say? And we play a clip of what Charlie said a month ago, a year ago. We have decades worth of my husband's voice. We have unused material from speeches that he's had that no one has heard yet. We have Sunday specials lined up to the brim because my husband was so intentional about making sure that there was enough content. Always.
He made sure we recorded everything.
Everything.
He would not do a speech unless we could get the video and the
100%. So we have speeches that no one's heard of. We have.
Speaking of the devil, how about the 3 high-def cameras at Utah University that caught Charlie's alleged death from a triangulated camera angle? 3 different high-def cameras. Why hasn't TPUSA released that camera footage? And by the way, the government can't tell them that they can't release that, by the way, because they own the footage. Okay? So we're talking about, okay, Charlie wanted everything recorded and this and that. Okay, well, by the way, speaking of the devil, speaking of the camera footage, where's the camera footage? Why haven't they released the camera footage that they have from 3 different high-def cameras that would probably give the rest of us the information and insight that we need to put a couple of the missing pieces together, or maybe the missing piece of the puzzle together? Just food for thought, guys. Why haven't they released it?
Interviews that no one's heard of. We have stuff from Korea and Japan that no one's heard of.
Podcasts.
So, I mean, in the words of my husband, buckle up, because there is a lot of content to be had. And we have so many amazing things down the pipeline that we are working on currently that will
unveil in due time.
Okay. It's all business with her all day. All I hear and all I'm seeing is like dollar signs in her eyes, right? This is business. And by the way, I'm not saying that the Charlie Kirk show and these other guys don't have other insight, and they might not, they might be interesting people and have interesting content, and they're talking about having other different hosts and swapping out different guests. Okay, cool. I'll probably be tuning in just to check it out out of curiosity. Here's the thing, guys. This is the Charlie Kirk show. Charlie Kirk is gone now. It's not the Charlie Kirk show anymore. It's now become something else. Okay. By name, it's the Charlie Kirk show. Okay. Take, for example, my channel, United USA. Okay, guy, when I die, the channel dies, guys. It's just the way that it is. Okay. I don't mean to be morbid here. I'm just being honest and being realistic. It is what it is. So this is not the Charlie Kirk show anymore. This is now become something else. It's a panel of other people, but of course they're going to keep the Charlie Kirk show name, right? Because it's a brand, right? And they're going to continue that brand. This is a business, guys.
So excited.
Yeah.
And so,
and by the way, those are things Charlie himself
that he wanted.
We were working on some big things, right up until the end, and we've talked about that a lot. Like a lot
Right.
of the guiding vision that we're using right now to kind of steady the ship and figure out where we're going is the things Charlie himself
100%.
told us where we were going.
100%. And similar with Turning Point USA, Charlie had a plan moving past 2030 that he's shared with the team and has implemented. So we're not going anywhere.
We have the blueprints.
We have the blueprints. We have our marching orders, and we are just remaining humble and grateful to God, and remaining just stewards to what God has blessed us with. And I know Charlie is going to continue to guide us, and the Lord will continue to guide us. And I just wanted to let everyone know that this is far beyond any of us sitting in these chairs. This has nothing to do with us. It never will. The glory all to God on that front. And I just am excited. It's weird to say excited, but it's also very surreal to say it because
Yeah, it is. Yeah, let's stop right there for a second. It's very weird to say that you're very excited about this business venture. That, by the way, now you're CEO and you're in charge. Yeah, it's very weird to say that you're excited. Am I the only one that thinks that that's very odd? I mean, she even caught herself for a second. She's like, oh, I know that's weird to say, but here comes the but. Yeah, that's not a good choice of words.
I know that God will use all of this in a way that will glorify him, further Charlie's legacy, and Charlie's up in heaven just...
Why you should never charge your smartphone at night. 22 years as a cell phone repair engineer.
He's rooting us on. I know that.
He's so rooting us on.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, if they're alleged real Christians, guys, you guys can do your research in the Bible. I forget the scripture off the top of my head right now because I have so much stuff on my mind. The Bible clearly indicates that the dead have no knowledge of the living. Okay. Now, there was a long time in my life when I used to believe my mom, my grandmother, people had passed, were looking down on me, looking out for me. Now, I know that's going to possibly get some people a little butthurt, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, okay? Everyone believes something different. But understand that my belief, guys, is in the Bible, right? So I take God's word to heart, okay? So the Bible makes it very clear that the dead have no knowledge of the living whatsoever. So Charlie's not looking down right now and rooting her on. And actually, she makes a statement. Actually, I meant to actually put that in yesterday's video where she made her initial speech 2 days after Charlie had died, that, he's down, he's looking over us, he's this, he's that. No, that's not true. And as alleged real Christians, they should know God's word, especially, I mean, they've been serving God for over a decade. So for someone who's been serving God allegedly for over a decade, you should know the Bible inside out, read the Bible many times over, and know that. Also, the example of Lazarus, the story of the rich man and Lazarus. Not Lazarus that Jesus raised from the dead, a different Lazarus, okay? And it talks about Lazarus being in heaven, and Jesus gives the parable that he can see the rich man, right? And Jesus is saying, well, in life you were comforted, and now you're here. And, Lazarus was in discomfort and poverty, and, He was, a beggar and poor, and now he's in paradise. Now he's in comfort, right? And it was saying the rich man was talking about, to Lazarus, when they were talking, the example of how hell was real was the rich man saying, if I could just dip my finger in some water to cool my tongue, Lord, let me go back, to tell, or at least warn my family of this place so that they don't come to this terrible place of torment, right? Now, Jesus was giving the example, but the Bible makes it very clear that hell and heaven, there's a separation. And hell is not just a place of torment, it's a separation from God, a permanent separation from God. So just to give that example, they should already know this, right? I don't know if they're just being, whether it's superficial or they're just being, I'm trying to find the word that I'm looking for here. Just, I don't know, just sunshine and rainbows or whatever. They're just saying this just to like comfort each other. I don't know. I'm not in their mind, but they should know that Charlie's already, he's in a totally new place, in a perfect place, and it's completely separate from the world now. He has no knowledge of what's happening here on the earth. He's in a whole new life. Okay. So my point is they should, as Christians, they should know this already. But so that was just something else I wanted to point out.
Now, I want to ask you just a little bit about, because this is something we wrestled with, the social accounts. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget when you looked at me and you were like, Andrew, he cared so much about building those up. I'm not letting those die. Mm-hmm. And I just remember being like, yes, thank you. I needed to hear that, because it is a little awkward. Now we're not going to use it for random stuff, but for very specific things.
For his voice, for things he cared about, for movements he cared about, for causes he cared about, those socials. And also, too, to support Turning Point USA, to be the barometer of what's going on, to be the pulse point. Again, we're not going to be posting, I went for a walk today. No, we are using his socials in a way that will continue to honor his legacy. He poured so much time into building those, not from a vain or vanity standpoint or look at me. That's never why he built those. That he built those because he knew that being a voice for the Lord and being a voice for everything that is good and beautiful in this world, and also, yes, the youth, he used that as the North Star, and we will continue that. And it'll be done tastefully, it will be done appropriately, and I'm excited for all of it, because we have a good...
She's excited for all of it. So, yeah, she's excited, guys. Now, there's different ways you can look at this. Some people can say, well, she's, excited because she's excited to further the movement, right? And I can see that. Okay. Let me kind of play devil's advocate here for a moment. Yeah, she could be excited for that. It does sound still very strange. When I look at her, I see opportunity, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It depends on how you look at it. But I see someone as an opportunist, of someone who's very excited that now she's in charge, inherited multi-millions, and now here she is kind of in this place of where it's like, oh, look at all the stuff that we're going to do now. And it's like, okay, I can see that, right? For me personally, when she had made that statement 2 days after Charlie had passed away and she plugged TPUSA, I went to TPUSA as soon as she said that. And I was like, oh, let me do some volunteer work. Let me actually apply, put in an application. And now, as the last few weeks has transpired, just seeing her actions and odd behavior, it really kind of shook me to the point where it really has left a bad taste in my mouth, to where I've decided I don't want to be a part of TPUSA because that's unfortunate. And maybe it is a good organization. Maybe it does stand for good. I'm sure there's a lot of good people. But for me, there's too much sketchy stuff. And like I said, the fact that they haven't released the camera footage, just in my mind, it really kills their credibility. You've got complete strangers. You got people like me and people like you guys that are trying to figure this out. People posting videos, people watching hours of videos, like daily, weekly, watching tons of videos to try to put the pieces together and figure out what really happened to Charlie. Because I think that 99% of us know that the official narrative that we've been told about Charlie is not true. There's things that don't make sense. You got Robinson allegedly on the roof. There's a gap in the video. It doesn't show him going up there. They only show what they wanted us to see. Some people are saying that he had the gun when he jumped off, whatever. You'd have to dismantle it. Then it was said it was left there. Then it was left in the woods, but it was disassembled. But then he reassembled it when he left it in the woods. Makes no sense. 15 minutes after the shooting, you got video of Tyler Robinson at the Dairy Queen. Did you guys see that video? He's in a red shirt. Did you guys see that? 15 minutes after, the guy's at Dairy Queen. Then, just a day or 2 days later, like within that week, I think it was just a couple of days, that Dairy Queen is shut down now. Completely cleared out. I don't know if you guys saw that. That's weird. Also, we got the guy who said, oh, I did it. That old guy, right? Remember you guys, we saw that video initially. We thought that was the guy who did it. And you see the police, they're carrying him out by his arms and legs and carrying him. It's also linked that guy was also linked to, I don't know if he's a crisis actor or what. It seems like we got some crisis actors in this situation, guys. Some Robbie Parkers. He was on video at 9/11. He was also on video at the Boston Marathon bombing as well. And here it is. Why would this guy do this? The only logical explanation for that guy to say, oh, I'm the one that did it. It was me. And then the cops immediately rush in and grab him. Well, obviously common sense tells us it was a diversion. That guy is part of a coup. He's part of a conspiracy, He's part of a conspiracy because that was directly used as a diversion. Too much weird stuff in this whole situation. And to add more weirdness to the equation, you got this lady right here. As if the whole situation with Charlie wasn't just bizarre enough and have, 10 times more questions than we have answers. Now we look at this person and her weird behavior and what's going on with her. I don't know, guys. It's strange. Very strange behavior. Never seen anybody this happy after they lost somebody special to them in a short period of time, especially the way that Charlie died. It makes no sense to me. And the only thing that makes sense to me is she seems happy now because maybe she got what she finally wanted. I don't know. It seems really weird. Either way, there's more to talk about. Please like and share and stay tuned for part 3 and possibly part 4.
I'm excited